If you are watching this video right now at this very moment, understand something profound. None of this is a coincidence. You did not arrive here by chance. It wasn't the algorithm. It wasn't boredom. It wasn't a passing curiosity. You were led. There is a higher intelligence orchestrating the invisible threads of your journey, and this intelligence knew exactly where you needed to be on this night, on this day, in this very instant. The source, that which sustains all existence, that which pulses behind every star, every breath, every beat of your heart, is trying to speak to you. And the Council of Polaris, ancient guardians of cosmic consciousness, now transmits a message that needs to pierce through the veil of forgetting that you have carried for far too long. Take a deep breath. Feel the slight tingling running down your spine as you read these words. This is not a common symptom. It is your soul awakening, recognizing an ancient calling, remembering something that has remained dormant for entire incarnations. There is a very specific reason why you have felt, over the last few months or years, this profound emptiness that seems impossible to explain. You try to fill this void with people, with work, with distractions, with relationships, with consumption, and nothing works. You go to sleep tired and wake up even more exhausted. You feel an anxiety in your chest that no one around you seems to understand. You feel a massive sense of isolation even when surrounded by people, as if you were walking among ghosts who live in a different reality than yours. And you have begun to wonder if something is wrong with you, if you are weak, if you are depressed, if you are strange, if you simply cannot fit in the way others seem to fit in. But what the Council of Polaris wants you to understand tonight is the opposite of all that. This emptiness is not a symptom of a problem. This emptiness is a sign of belonging. You are feeling the void because you carry within you a spiritual mission greater than ordinary life could ever fill. This exhaustion is not depression. It is your soul refusing to keep pretending. This anxiety is not an illness. It is the frequency of your true essence trying to break through the shell of the personality you built to survive in a world that was not made for you. This isolation is not a curse. It is your consciousness recognizing that you did not come here to fit in. You came to blaze a trail. You are a starseed. You are a starseed of Ethel. You are a soul that came from very far away, from constellations that your rational mind cannot even imagine, and you agreed to descend to this planet at one of the most critical moments in its history to fulfill a role that only you can fulfill. And now, at this exact moment, this calling is intensifying because the time of waiting is over. The Earth is undergoing a division of realities. This is not a metaphor. It is not poetry. It is not spiritual literature. It is a real energetic process, measurable in subtle frequencies that ancient scientific systems still cannot capture, but which every sensitive person is already feeling in their own skin. There are two timelines unfolding simultaneously upon this planet. One is the timeline of the old paradigm, based on fear, control, scarcity, separation, artificial hierarchies, emotional manipulation, dependency, and external authority. This line is collapsing. You can see the signs everywhere if you pay attention. Institutions that were once untouchable are falling. Ancient lies are being exposed. Relationships based on convenience are unraveling. Entire professions are becoming obsolete. Beliefs that seemed eternal are crumbling. And at the same time, side by side, moving through the same space, another line is rising. A higher frequency. A new horizon that is not a distant physical place, but a vibrational reality that materializes for those who can sustain their consciousness in this new octave. And you, yes, you who are listening now, have been summoned to be a builder of this new horizon, not a spectator, not a survivor. A builder, an anchor, a bridge. You are not here just to witness the transition, you are here to make it happen through your own internal transformation. When you transform, the field transforms. When you raise your frequency, thousands of other people around you are impacted even without realizing it. This is the true spiritual physics that the Council of Polaris has taught for eons. And that is why you need to stop, right now, in this moment, doubting who you are. Every time you tell yourself you are just an ordinary person, every time you diminish yourself, every time you postpone your mission because you think you aren't ready yet, You delay an entire collective process. The doubts you carry are not yours. They were installed. They were cultivated in you since childhood by the systems that needed to keep you asleep. But now, today, in this very instant of reading, you have the opportunity to cut that chain, to publicly declare within your own heart that you know deep down you came for something greater. You have always known. Even as a child, you looked at the night sky and felt a longing that no one could explain. That longing was memory, and the memory is returning. But there is a massive obstacle that prevents most awakened souls from effectively fulfilling their mission. This obstacle is called energy dispersion. Spiritually sensitive people, precisely because they have open hearts and expanded empathy, tend to waste a large part of their life force trying to save people who do not yet want to be saved. You probably do this. You feel responsible for the emotions of others. You spend all day putting out other people's fires. You give advice that no one asked for because you clearly see the path that person could follow. You sacrifice yourself in relationships where only you are investing energy. You remain in toxic environments out of guilt, out of misdirected compassion, out of fear of being seen as selfish. And the result is that you end up every day drained, empty, without the energy to do what truly matters, which is to develop your own light. The Council of Polaris transmits a hard but liberating truth. You did not come here to carry anyone on your back. You came here to light a flame, and whoever wants to warm themselves by that flame will approach by their own choice. Saving people who did not ask to be saved is, energetically, a form of invasion. It is stealing the learning of another's soul. It is positioning yourself as the god of a journey that is not yours, and it is, above all, a subtle form of escaping your own mission, because it is much easier to worry about other people's problems than to face the depth of what you yourself came here to do. Therefore, setting boundaries is not selfishness. It is energetic sovereignty. It is the basic condition for any serious spiritual work. Starting today, you need to clearly identify who sucks your energy, which environments drain your vibration, which conversations pull you down, which habits keep you in old frequencies and make courageous decisions. Some people will need to leave your life. Some conversations will need to end. Some places will need to be abandoned. Some family dynamics will need to be redefined. And you will feel guilt, of course you will. But know that this guilt is also old programming. You were taught to feel guilt every time you chose yourself. This conditioning needs to be dissolved. Reclaiming your energy is the first concrete, practical, real step to activating the mission that brought you here. Without this recovery, any other spiritual work will be superficial. You can meditate for 1,000 hours, you can read 1,000 books, you can participate in 1,000 ceremonies, but if your energy continues to leak through the holes of toxic relationships and responsibilities that do not belong to you, nothing will be sustained. And now we come to an absolutely crucial point of this transmission, because for a transformation of this magnitude, what is being asked of you is not an ordinary change, not a small adjustment, not an improvement. It is a complete rewriting of your energetic structure. And such a rewriting requires specific knowledge, precise instruments and tools that have been preserved in stellar civilizations for millennia, specifically to be made available to souls like yours, at this exact moment in planetary history. That is why the Council of Polaris authorizes now the opening of a portal of learning that was sealed, awaiting the right time. This portal manifests in the form of the 22 Polaris codes. These are not ordinary codes. They are ancient vibrational sequences, subtle geometries of light and sound, that, when accessed with the correct intention, dissolve crystallized energetic blockages in deep layers of your field, dramatically accelerate the awakening process, recalibrate your nervous system to receive higher frequencies without collapsing, and prepare your body, mind, and soul for the next stage of your mission. Many people try to evolve spiritually alone, based on willpower, and end up stagnating because old blockages require ancient instruments. It is not enough to want to change. You must have the correct keys to open the correct doors. The 22 codes were built exactly for this. Each code acts on a specific layer of your being. There are codes for ancestral liberation, codes for opening communication channels with your stellar family, codes for emotional stabilization during the transition, codes for energetic protection against external interference, codes for the conscious manifestation of the new reality, and codes for reconnection with your original purpose. You will feel, as you work with them, that something inside you already recognizes these frequencies. Because you know them, you simply forgot. And the reunion with this forgotten knowledge produces an acceleration so deep that many souls report, in just a few weeks, changes that would normally take years of traditional spiritual work. This resource will be made available today for those who feel the calling. And you will know if the calling is yours. You don't need to think much. The body responds before the mind. If you are feeling chills at this very instant, if there is a strong resonance in your chest, if a part of you is silently saying yes, it is because this tool was prepared for you. But for this transformation to be complete, there is an even deeper work that needs to be done, a work that few people have the courage to face, and that work is the healing of the family lineage. Understand now, with all possible clarity, that you were not born by accident into the family you were born into. Your soul chose before descending to this plane exactly that father, that mother, those grandparents, those aunts and uncles, that entire family tree, and you chose them for a powerful reason you came to interrupt. 2. There are cycles of suffering that have been repeating in your family for generations, patterns of poverty, patterns of illness, patterns of destructive relationships, patterns of silence, patterns of abuse, patterns of failure, patterns of deep sadness. These pains are not just individual stories, they are energetic chains passed from generation to generation, like an invisible inheritance, and every new soul born into that lineage receives these chains as if they were their own. But you, stellar soul, came with a different mission. You did not come to repeat. You came to cut. You came to be the point in your family's timeline where that cycle ends. And that is why your life has been so intense, so difficult, so full of challenges that seem disproportionate. It is because you are carrying on your shoulders the weight of an entire lineage asking to be set free. You are simultaneously the person who received the deepest pain and the person designated to heal it. You need now to break the limiting energetic bonds that connect you to the old patterns of your family. This does not mean cutting ties on the physical plane, although in some cases that may be necessary. It means primarily cutting the invisible threads of unconscious obedience, of loyalty to suffering, of guilt for being different, of fear of surpassing your parents, of shame for desiring a better life than theirs. You need to abandon the guilt of being happy when your family was not. You need to abandon the guilt of prospering when your family struggled with lack. You need to abandon the guilt of flourishing when your family merely survived. This guilt does not connect you to the love of your lineage. It imprisons you to its pain. And you were not sent here to be trapped. You were sent to liberate. When you heal yourself energetically, 7 generations behind you are healed, and 7 generations ahead receive a lighter path. Your true identity transcends the surname you carry. Your true identity is not in the DNA you inherited, but in the stellar spark that chose to animate this body. Your true family is cosmic. And recognizing this is not betraying your own, it is honoring them in the highest possible way, by releasing the chain that they themselves suffered without knowing how to break. Now there is still one more layer of this message that needs to be transmitted with all seriousness, because the coming months and years will not be easy for humanity in general. The Council of Polaris anticipates, and whoever is tuned in also feels, that we are entering a period of heightened collective turbulence. The old systems will not fall in silence. They will crumble with noise, with convulsions, with resistance. There will be periods of social confusion, economic instability, emotional polarization, and intense manifestations on all planes. Many people, unprepared, will panic. The news will become even more alarming. Social media will become even more laden with fear. Family conversations will grow more tense. The streets in various regions of the world, from the hubs of London to the squares of Washington and beyond, will experience moments of instability, and the temptation for you will be to join the fight, to take a stand with anger, to spend your energy debating, arguing, trying to convince, trying to fix the chaos. But the Council of Polaris transmits with absolute clarity. That is not your role. You did not come to fight against the collapse. You came to stand firm while it happens. Your mission during this period is to maintain emotional stability. It is to strengthen your spiritual frequency daily, with discipline, with devotion. It is to serve as a point of balance for all those who are still trapped in fear. Imagine a room full of people in a panic. If a single person in the middle of that room can keep their breathing calm, their gaze steady, their heart centered, that person alters the entire field. The others, even without being able to explain why, begin to breathe more slowly, begin to calm down, begin to regain clarity. This is the function of the spiritual anchor. This is the function for which you were trained in subtle planes even before you were born. And this function is not fulfilled with shouting, with battles, or with external revolution. It is fulfilled in your ability to remain at peace when everything around you would invite despair. This is not about alienation. It is not about indifference. It is not about pretending nothing is happening. It is about a high form of presence. You see everything, feel everything, perceive everything, but you are not dragged down by anything, because your center is rooted in something much greater than passing events. And it is exactly this stability that will become a lighthouse. People will seek you out without knowing why. People will look for you in their most difficult moments. People will feel, by your side, a sense of security they won't be able to explain. This is your mission materializing. This is the new horizon being built through you, in silence, in consistency, in sustained frequency day after day. And now, reaching the end of this transmission, the Council of Polaris wishes for you to receive something definitively within your heart. The period of intense suffering, the one in which you felt aimless, purposeless, meaningless, lost between realities that did not match your essence, that period is over. It has fulfilled its role. It broke you so that you could rebuild yourself in a truer form. It isolated you so that you could hear your own voice beneath the noise of the world. It exhausted you so that you would no longer have the energy to sustain the false version of yourself. And now you are ready. You have officially entered a new phase, the phase of conscious creation, the phase in which you are no longer a victim of circumstances, but a co-author of your reality together with the source. The phase in which every thought, every word, every choice begins to shape much more directly what manifests in your life. You have crossed to the other side, and from here on, everything changes. But for this transition to be fully consolidated, a symbolic gesture is necessary, an act of affirmation, a visible commitment to this new identity. The ancients always knew that external rituals seal internal transformations, and that is why the Council of Polaris invites you to mark this moment. Leave in the comments the word that best represents what you felt during this transmission. It can be a single word, it can be a phrase, it can be just a yes. This gesture, seemingly small, works energetically like a signature, like a confirmation to the universe that you have consciously accepted the call. Comment with other souls who were also led here, exchange perceptions, strengthen the community, because the new horizon is not built in isolation. It is built in a network, in communion between starseeds who recognize each other. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, because more transmissions will come, and each will bring a specific key for the next stage of your awakening. Share this video with that person who came to your mind while you were listening to this message, because if they appeared in your mind, it was not by chance. They also need to hear this, and you are the chosen messenger to deliver this transmission to them. Save this video, return to it on difficult days, listen again when you feel you are forgetting who you are, because every time you reactivate these words, you reactivate the frequencies they carry. You are no longer the same person who started watching this video. Something has moved, something has activated, something has begun to breathe again inside you. And that something is your true essence finally recognizing that it has come home. Welcome, Starseed of Ethel. Welcome back to yourself. The Source has spoken. The Council of Polaris has transmitted. Now the path is open, and the rest, dear soul, depends on what you do starting with the next dawn.